great, Greg. Good to see you this morning.
Nice to see you, Nick. Right, guys, we've got 3 hours of sports to discuss with you on this Tuesday morning. We're going to start with that Chiefs-Chargers game from last night. Let's dive right in. It was Monday Night Football, this one from down in Mexico City, and we're going to pick up the game in the third quarter. Patrick Mahomes finds his tight end Travis Kelce. It's a 23-yard touchdown. Kelce had 7 catches, 92 yards on the night. 23 seconds left to play. Chargers with a chance to tie it here. Phillip Rivers looking for Austin Eckler. That is picked off for Rivers. 4th interception of the night, 14th on this season, trailing only Jameis Winston at this point in that department. Chiefs defense coming up big on a night where their offense looked kind of small. So let's jump right into this. Nick, I'll start with you. You more or you less confident in the Chiefs after what you saw last night in that win?
I felt better about the Chiefs after last week's horrifying loss than I did after this week's nice win. And by nice win, I mean only because they stay in first place in the division. They once again continue a dominance over the AFC West that is really only rivaled by, as far as inter-division dominance, the Patriots and the AFC East. The Chiefs are now 24-3 in the division over the last 5 years. That's well before Patrick Mahomes got there. They have run roughshod over the AFC West. So that part you feel good about. You feel good that once again Patrick Mahomes' leg did not appear to be hampering him at all. In fact, he had a season-high rushing yards in this game, and his best plays were made with his legs. But if they played a competent team last night, they'd have lost. I mean, that's the reality on the ground from Mexico City. It was a miracle the Chargers didn't score a touchdown in the first half. It was a minor miracle that they abandoned the running game, which was so effective, and that they put the game on Phillip Rivers at this point, shoulder that is not a shoulder it once was. And so Kansas City got the win. They got to the bye. They have as late as a bye as you can have in the league, which if you can survive the first 11 weeks without a bye, which all the Chiefs really did survive, it can be a good time to get healthy. Tyreek Hill got hurt in this game. Both running backs got hurt in this game. Mahomes clearly could use a little extra time. But for a team that going into the year I picked to win the Super Bowl, what they've looked like really since the first month of football has not been a team that should be the favorite to win the Super Bowl. And last night, Greg, it's tough because you're happy you get a divisional win. It would have been a terrible loss after last week's heartbreaking loss. But they didn't play very well on either side of the ball except for forcing critical turnovers time in, time out against Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, the positive about last night's game is that the Chiefs did get a win. However, I am less confident the more I watch this team simply because of how they perform as a team. When we look at or we think about the Kansas City Chiefs, we automatically go to the offensive side of the ball and Patrick Mahomes and his ability to be magical, to make plays, more plays than necessary for them to have the outcome that they desire.
Along with all the weapons they had at all the skill positions and the speed and all of it.
But saying that and looking at that, when we talk about the teams that are at the upper echelon of the National Football League, let's just focus on the AFC. This team lacks what they lacked last year, even more this year. Defense. When you I have a hard time like pinpointing it because they have skilled guys, they have quality guys on that side of the ball that are just not getting it done. And when you're trying to accomplish more than what you did last year, which is move forward to making the Super Bowl, because you're in the AFC Championship game, you have to make strides in these areas, specifically defensively. You mentioned last night the Chargers and Phillip Rivers allowed them to win that game because they could have run the ball with Melvin Gordon at will.
And they didn't.
And they did not do it. I don't know why they stopped running the ball. Even with the 4 interceptions that Phillip Rivers threw, they still had a chance at the end of the game to make it happen and get the game to overtime.
And by the way, or to potentially win it in regulation. Last year, this game was eerily similar to the game the Chiefs lost last year that put the 1 seed in doubt to the Chargers. Chiefs were up 14 late in that game. They weren't able to run their 4-minute offense to put the game away, they being Kansas City. Chargers score. Chiefs go 3 and out. They score again, and they went for 2 for a walk-off victory that was at Arrowhead, if I'm not mistaken. Last night, the Chargers down 15. They score a touchdown. They go for 2 early. If they would have scored on that final play, the one Sorensen pick, I think they would have gone for 2 again. And I don't know that I have faith Kansas City could have stopped it. But real quick here on, to me, the most concerning part of it is not the defense. Because the Chiefs' defense is going to be something that is a work in progress at best, particularly run defense all year, but their inability to ice the game on offense. They had the ball 4 times after the Chargers cut it to 7. Those 4 drives ended in 4 punts. They had the ball twice where multiple first downs would have ended the football game, Jenna, and each of those times they were unable to do that. If the Chiefs are going to be a one-way team, that one way's got to be going 100 miles an hour, and last night the offense was not.
Hang on. You guys are already, we've been saying all season, worried about their defense. That's been the worry coming in. That's the concern right now. Are you both now concerned about their offense as well? At least take injuries out of it. I mean, well, I guess you can't really take injury with Hill hurt and with Patrick Mahomes still coming back. Are you both worried about their offense?
Well, for me, I look at their offense, and it definitely doesn't look like it did last year, and for a number of reasons. Number one, starting with Patrick Mahomes, him being in and out because of injury. Him obviously he will not be 100% for the remainder of the season. That's just not going to happen. He's still going to play phenomenal. He's still going to look great. He's still going to make those throws that we've seen him make. But his not being 100% and not having the weapons like Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, and Kelsey on the field at the same time, all the time, that's going to shoot them in the foot in the long run. When I look at why they look so great, it's because of a guy like Tyreek Hill that can stay on the field, and you have to account. You can't play man-to-man against the Chiefs with Tyreek Hill on the football field. You cannot do it. And so that changes the landscape of how you approach and attack teams offensively. And I just didn't see them making the proper adjustments last night, because you went into a game thinking that you were going to have all 3 of your guys for one of the very few times that we've seen.
Right, Tyreek Hill got hurt in week 1 of the season, and then by the time he came back, Mahomes was hurt. Then they played a full game together last week. Tyreek was fantastic, and Mahomes was fantastic, even though they lost. Then he got hurt in this game.
Different injury.
Yeah, it was a shoulder injury, and then it was a hamstring this week. I'm not worried about the Chiefs' offense holistically, big picture. Last year they scored at least 25 points every single game. This year, last night, was the 3rd time that didn't happen. However, the first 2 times, you look at the Mahomes was dealing with the ankle injury. The most recent time, last night, Tyreek Hill goes out of the game early. Where I'm worried about the offense has more to do with your old friend Andy Reid and situational football. They lost that Titans game because they could not pick up a first down at the end that would have prevented any of the field goal chicanery that happened. Last night, Phillip Rivers threw what should have been the game-losing interception, his 3rd interception, and they just needed 2 first downs. They got 1. They seemed in the moment to not realize, wait, because of the timeouts and the 2-minute warning, if we don't get another one, the Chargers are going to get the ball back with plenty of time. They went into a shell offensively the way you would do if we don't pick up a first down, there'll be 20 seconds left, not 2 full minutes. To me, that was poor play calling, poor coaching. That wasn't on Mahomes in the passing game. Mahomes in the passing game weren't given an opportunity to ice the game there, similar to the Titans game at the very end when they forced what should have been the game-ending play, stopping them on 4th and 17. And so it took another Phillip Rivers interception to finally end this football game. So they got a lot to work on in the bye week.
Right.
Now what they have going for them is there's 2 teams ahead of them in the AFC. You've got the Ravens, who they beat last year and this year, and the Patriots, who they played as close as anybody played all year last year. And so I still think the Chiefs' upside is win the championship. But their downside is lose a game you've got to have to a 4-7 Charger team, which they damn near did last night.
And the Ravens are playing as good as they've played all season, and the Patriots are still the New England Patriots until they're no longer. So they got those 2 things working against them as well. We'll talk much more about this game coming up. Speaking of the Patriots, is Tom Brady's lackluster play hurting them? That's next on FS1. You can always check us out on the Fox Sports channel.